Hi again. Welcome to part 2 of this fourth axis DRO, a fourth DRO. I can't call it a fourth axis because I believe it's not a fourth axis. There are only 3 axes, isn't there? It's the quill and it's sort of same as Z drive, isn't it? It's just above it, so I'm going to call it the fourth DRO. Be careful what I'm calling it. So we were a bit stuck, weren't we, on the last bit because I'd run out of metal. I didn't have any metal. I'd got smaller plate for the top bit that needs shaping, which I need to do that now, and the steel's come. I didn't order just one piece. I mean, these are 200mm lengths off eBay. It's probably not a good way of buying metal. You really want to be ordering decent lengths, I guess. But unfortunately, I've no way of storing it without it going rusty. And the thing is, I've never been stuck for a piece of metal that I was stuck for this time. Probably going to be again at some point. But that begs the question, do I need to be buying loads and loads of metal? And you're talking 2 to 3 days and it's on your doorstep. So probably ain't that important. So we'll shift across here onto the bench. You can probably see it from here and where you are now, but I'll move camera across and show you what we're going to do and where we are with it, and make a little bit more progress, all being well. Okay, so as you've seen already, that's the bottom of the quill. It's still bleeding oil out of it. That we're going to need a plate for. So these are 3 pieces of plate that I got. I think that's a 45 or 50mm. What is it? Have a look. 40mm, but that's 6mm thick is that one, which I just thought might be handy for odd jobs. That's a piece of 5mm by 20mm, and that's a piece of 5mm by 25mm. Yeah, that's probably the one I'm going to use. So what I was trying to explain before is either file a bit of a flat on here or file a slight radius in the end of this, and that'll weld onto there. And if I can do it neatly and then rub it all down, it should just look as if it were part of it. It's right thickness. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And then obviously there's the piece of aluminium that we're talking about cutting a shape out of. I'll just cut and trim that until it matches what I want, what I see it being. So there we go. So that's about as far as we've got, but at least the steel's come, so I can get on with it now. I think first thing is I'll sort this out, get this profiled, ready to weld, get the paint off this, and then do some TIG welding. I haven't done any for a while. We'll set that up, explain and show in a bit more detail than I have in the past, the TIG welder, because it is quite a nice machine. It wasn't cheap, but then again it's that shows the 1500 or 2 grand's worth. Expensive machine, but I bought it second hand, so I didn't pay anywhere near that, less than half of that, and it had never been used. I bought it from a company that does double glazed conservatories, I think, steel or aluminium, and they bought it for that, and the guy that bought it for couldn't use it. He was used to using alley MIG, and he said he could use one, and when they bought him it, he couldn't. So they went back to the alley MIG, and eventually the guy left, and they were stuck with it for about 2 or 3 years, stuck in a corner. What nice thing was, when I bought it off him, he gave me all the welding rods he had with it. There were a full box of alley rods, I think some stainless ones. So I did alright out of it, and it's been alright so far. It has tripped out a couple of times, so I'm probably a bit suspicious it doesn't have a huge duty cycle on it, but after a little cool down it seemed to work again okay. I was welding some thick steel at the time. Right, less of the jabbering and get on with some work. Well, we haven't made a massive amount of progress, but some. So I've taken all paint off that, I refitted it, and I took a line to exactly line up with the bottom of that DRO for the bottom bracket. And that's that piece of steel I had, and I've shaped it and chamfered it ready to weld. So that's ready to go, is that. The top one, the piece of aluminium, I've just like scribbled on fag packet drawing really, but that's the hole of the top of the quill stop where the two nuts are going to hold it, and that's going to be the other end that supports the top of the DRO itself. That's the diameter of my body of my quill. So I'm going to have to cut that round there, then maybe a bit of a radius back again, and then remove this metal here. I mean, I could leave it all on and just put a little bit of a radius on there, but the thing is, if I've cut that down to that, that's only the strength it's going to have in it. All that is only going to have the strength there held on a bolt. So it's probably going to look better if I radius it to follow this radius, sort of like a snake. That's what my thoughts are. Sort of shape it. It's not going to be any weaker because of the only strength it's got there. I don't think it needs a lot of strength. It's only a support for the top, really. I mean, I've seen some people not even have anything at top. The thing just goes up and down. I just thought it'd look nice to finish it off. And of course, it's all going to be painted when it's done. I've got etch primer and stuff for this. So that's where we are. So my next job, I guess, will be to TIG weld this and start cutting that. I've got bandsaw, so I could start cutting some metal out of it and then start and file the rest of it, I guess. Okay, we'll come back when we've done a little bit more. Well, I've set up a welding mask. It's just the guts out of one that somebody gave me. It were a college, they were throwing them all out because something like every 1 or 2 years they have to throw all the welding masks away. It's a college, and they something to do with health and safety, they have to buy new ones, and they just thought it was sacrilege to throw all the insides away, so I kept a couple, and I managed to scrounge one off him. So I'm hoping, what I've done, I've made a little bit of an alley frame that fits on the gimbals, if you want to call them that, and inside there is going to be my GoPro, my little GoPro 5. So I'm hoping that GoPro is going to catch the TIG welding. I've tried once before and I failed miserably, but I'm going to have another go because it'd be nice to see what I'm doing. Not that I'll be doing very good because my nerves are shot, but we'll do the best we can, and at least it shows a little bit more, doesn't it? Okay, just thought I'd show that little bit, and then I'm going to get set up next and get this welding done.
Not enough current.
Got it at 85 and it's turning up. What a mess. God, I am rusty. I haven't done this for ages. That's at 90 amps. A bit better. You can see that, guys. Probably not. Turn on the camera on. So that's running. Focusing so well, is it? So that's the weld I've just done. First side, rubbish, absolutely crap. I haven't done it for ages. That side's a bit better, a bit tidier. I can't zoom in because I've got steady shot on. It's starting to get a bit warm. So I'll rub them down and see where we go with that, but I think that's in the right position. Just got that to cut off and drill now, and that bit's finished, so I'll do that next. Right, we've got somewhere. That's the top plate, and that's where it's going to be chopped off. That's right down. Just clears the stop. I've put a spare lock nut on there just in case I ever want to lock it. But yeah. So that needs cutting off and then fixing on here. And then this needs to come off, all of it needs to come off and be painted. Pleased with it so far. Then we've got a bracket to make here, haven't we, for the, I say we, there's only me here. You're going to help me, tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, just the readout to do then. So that's where we are with it. Spent a couple of hours today making brackets and cutting and filing and things, but it's all cleaned up all right, so we are nearly there. That's the length I wanted. This is spare, so we're putting this off. Needs cleaning. Looks good. We'll assemble that for marking up for drilling, and then we'll get it finished. Right, that's the depth of the quill. It works. Well, does it? I don't know, because I've even plugged it in. Do you know, I never even plugged it in and put batteries in to try it. Look, well, if it's faulty, and I've cut it down. Next, I think best thing to do is make the bracket for that, and then if that wants painting, I can paint all lot together. But maybe you can see how I've done this. Oh, that's okay. So these are the depth stops. That's I put a lock nut on there, but do you know, it looked a bit shitty. I think what I need to do is make another little knurled screw, a small one, just a bobbin like that, to sit on there, just so I can lock that there. That's at its full depth. Never done it, but it wants to be right, doesn't it? Because that one, which would wind down normally to it, I've used that to pack that up. So that's packed to that. Now, I don't know what you guys think, but personally I think that's better than me having it here, bearing in mind that it's got a separate reader that goes with it. That would have been sort of the, well, they did one, didn't they, all combined. That's got a separate reader and a separate readout, whereas if I was going to have done it that way, there's a guy at Model Engineering site actually showed me the other day the one he'd done, but I'd already started this when he showed me it, and I was sort of part way through it. And what he'd done is he'd put it here, so it cleared this and it cleared anything here, but it put an L bracket underneath the belt housing, and it drilled it and fixed 2 bolts into it, I think it was, to support it. And then I ain't sure if he didn't fix off the bottom like I have as well. No, he can't have done, can he? Because that won't move. I don't know what he did at the bottom then. Oh, I might have come, no, he can't move that bit, can it? I honestly don't know. I did look at the pictures of it and it looked okay. But as I say, I'd already started this, so it seemed daft not to carry on with it. And it's not actually in the way of anything there.
this still works. I can still lock in the fine feed, which I'm sure I'd use, because that's coarse, is that left hand handle, and if I wanted to dial in just a few thousandths of an inch, I've got the scale here, so I've got a few thousandths there, and I can make sure how accurate it is. I don't know how accurate this scale is. I suppose it's fairly accurate, but yeah, if you wanted 2.5 thou, getting half a thou would probably be, if you're looking at microns, which I never do, but if you were. So that's it, that's tightened up and on, and it all needs taking back off again. I never did do anything about this lead, cutting it down, and I would like to have done, but let's zoom out. I would like to have cut that down for that reader, but I don't know. I daren't, because as I say, if I strip this down I'll probably fall to pieces. Maybe I'm not just feeling adventurous, it's winter, I've got an excuse. Okay, I'll get on with this bracket, and when that's finished I'll do it all painted, and when it's completely finished, complete and done, I shall switch it on and see if it works, which would have been a good idea to start with, wouldn't it? I ain't got any back. What we got here? This is a piece of stainless plate I found in DRO. 45mm, just over. I think it's 3mm. 1, 2, 2.5 or 3mm. Let's have a look. Do it properly. Three and a half mil. It might be a bit of a burr on there, so we'll call it 3. I just thought using that as opposed to using a piece of aluminium plate, there'd be less spring in it, wouldn't there? Because when you're pressing on that, your buttons, it's going to spring into it. I just thought a bit of stainless might be a bit stronger than aluminium. And it's in stock, so let's use it. Bit rough, and it's got a bit of a curve to it. I can bray it flat. I don't know what it's used for. Somebody gave me it. Obviously been used for something. It's got a bit of a radius in there. I'm sure we can make it work. Okay. Right, well that's it all mounted. I've still got all this cable dangling down to sort out. But the readouts, okay. What I didn't know was, and I did say in instructions, I saw something and didn't understand what it meant. You can see that up in the right hand corner it says 1/16 of an inch, which is 62.5 thou. It's a little bit tight. But it's working. So it's imperial. Can zero to any point, there's ABS. Can't see your writing saying anything. Oh, is it in that corner up there? Top of the screen. Yeah, absolutely, probably incremental. Yeah, I'm pleased. It is a little bit tight, so I need to maybe make sure I haven't got anything bound anywhere. But basically that's it. So I can read that display, We can see tacho flickering away on this. It's not really. It must be something to do with 30 frames a second there. And then my readout, which is on a piece of stainless, which is nice and tight, so I can touch buttons and press them without it bending. Pleased so far. We'll strip it all down and paint it and just have a little play with that. It's a right little bit tad tight is this. So I'm assuming there's a little bit of a sprain on it somewhere that might just need a tweak. But that's it, it's done. And I'm pretty pleased we've got another edition. This is a bit to stitch into the doing the DRO on the quill. So I've painted these brackets. That's a stainless steel one. That's the top support one, which is just aluminium. And that's the bottom of the quill. So this will all be going back together later today, but I've got a few jobs in the house to do. So I'll edit that in. Start again. Right guys, it's finished. I don't know if you're able to see this, but I should have light. I'm trying to show you that up in that top corner there, yeah, you can see it. That says 0.0255, that's thousandths of an inch. Up in the corner it says 132, a 32nd of an inch. Oh, quite nifty actually. When it gets up to the next, what's that one? That's saying 3/64ths, 5/64ths. Oh, quite nifty thing to have. That's in metric. Seems very smooth. We're having problems with it, and I'm going to be honest, there's no point in lying to you and making you think everything was so fine and it was so easy. It wasn't, it was a pillock, and it was a pillock that were doing it. Let's zoom out a bit. I'll actually show the whole thing doing its thing. So that's it. So you've got your bottom arm, well painted up now, your top arm bolted to the ruler bit, the whatever you want to call it, the magnetic strip, and that's going through the reader. Now I'll move you outside, and this is where it all began to go awry. Was here, this reader box, I had it with this wire coming out of this side, which should have been at the top, wouldn't it? And when I come to try and tidy this lot up at back, I mean, it's all tie wrapped up in a bunch, but at least you can't see it from front. You know, a man on a galloping horse is never going to notice it. So, my dad used to say. So I've turned the reader around. Now, it were reading a bit weird and not right, and I thought, well, I wonder if this is got a bit right way around for any particular reason. I thought it was just some sort of magnetic strip. So I pulled it out, turned it round, couldn't get it back in. And there's, on one side, you've got a rub strip, which if you've ever had a digital caliper apart, you'll know it's spring to give it a tension, push it, and it's got some sort of connection that rubs on there. I'll call it earth, but whatever it is, some sort of negative. And it shot out. So I thought, oh, boulder dash. So I took this lot out and I put it on bench and I took it apart and I had a look and managed to get the little spring strip back in, pushed the reader through it, the strip and put it all back together, and I mounted it all on here, lovely, tied it all up at back. I thought, yeah, that's great, and I switched it on, and this readout were going jobilio. It were just going all over the place. It were going absolutely crackers. So I've obviously I'd cocked something up. What? I ain't got a clue. So I've been out with my mates tonight to my local motorbiker cafe, all in our cars of course, because it's freezing, and they were saying, how have you gone on with that DRO? And I said, it's all gone to bloody shit, it's all gone to crap. I've made a right cock up of it. I don't know what I've done, but I think I'm going to have to buy another one. So on my way home tonight, it shuts at 10, full of coffee. I'm coming back and thinking, I can't go to bed, because if I go to bed, I won't sleep, because all I'll be worried about is sorting this out. So I thought, I'm going in garage. So it's now 11:05 at night. So I got myself a drink, came into garage, took this back off, stripped it down, turned that reader round, had a play with it, had a look at it, couldn't see anything wrong. Very carefully put it back together. Every time I put a screw in, I plugged it in, and it was correct. And now it's reading okay. Don't know what I did wrong, but it seems to be working. It ain't going silly anymore. So I'm very happy with it now. I've put it all back together and it is working. So I'm hoping it's going to be a great addition for if you want to do a little bit of plunging to a certain depth. How accurate it'll be, I don't know, but it seems alright. And I'm very happy with it, and it's the 4th DRO, and that is complete. So whether you might think stuck offside it looks a pillock, but it's what it is. I think it looks alright, and it's not in way of anything. I can still get to my belts, I can still get to the fine feed. By the way, I compared the fine feed with this, and for every 10 thou of that fine feed, that reads 11. For every 10 thou it reads 1 thou more. So I don't know whether that is in thous or what the hell it's in, I don't know. But I'm not going to use that, am I? Don't need to. So I'm hoping that, I suppose my best proof would be to put a piece of work in here, wouldn't it? Lift the bed up, put a piece of work in and measure from quill. Do 20 thou and see if it is 20 thou, which I probably will do later. But it's all stuff that we all know how to do, so I'm hoping that people that see it are appreciative if you're thinking of doing something like that and you've wondered how you're going to do it. And I'm sure there's dozens of people that'll watch this that won't have done it how I've done it. It was just my idea, how I thought it'd look okay. And it does look okay to me. But then it's me that's done it, innit? And I would say that. Let me know, guys, in comments what you think. If you think I made the right bollocks of it, let me know, because I can take criticism. And thanks very much for watching. Click as I like if you do like. If you don't, well, don't. Okay then, we'll catch you on the next one.